Hi, my name is Abby, and I'm here to say this episode of Real Deal is A-OK.
Over here, I'm Noah, and I'm fat as a boa constrictor.
All right, if we don't start soon, there's gonna be a fight.
So you better buckle up, because we're gonna take flight.
Welcome back to The Real Deal, Ball State's premier entertainment news show. I'm your Grammy host, Abby Perry.
And I'm dropping the mic, bringing it back, and treating you right.
Nate's here for our first pick. He's gonna give you your fix.
Nothing like movies on Netflix. Nate's gonna lay down the law, but not gonna drop the ball.
Take it away, Nate, and don't be late.
We're on the eve of Netflix having their first Best Picture winner. That's right, there's no way Alfonso Cuarón's Roma is going to lose the Best Picture race. Though the strange thing is, when the film debuted on the streaming service late last year, nobody outside the film lovers community seemed to be talking about it. Instead, everybody was going crazy over the Sandra Bullock sci-fi horror film Bird Box, and the reviews and the reactions were a bit polarizing. While there are plenty of people who enjoyed the movie, there are a lot of people complaining that Netflix has ever made a good movie. To that, I say hello. I know you're too busy hate-watching Bright or whatever new Adam Sandler movie debuts on the service, but there's been plenty of great films that Netflix has released. They've teamed up with directors like Mike Flanagan, Bong Joon-ho, Noah Baumbach, and the Coen brothers on films like Gerald's Game, Oakjaw, The Meyerowitz Stories, and The Ballad of Buster Scruggs that have all received critical acclaim. Plus, Oscar-winning directors such as Martin Scorsese, Steven Soderbergh, Guillermo del Toro, and Ron Howard are all working on movies with the streaming giant alongside blockbuster directors from the likes of Zack Snyder, Michael Bay, and Shane Black. A-list stars such as Dwayne Johnson, Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Mark Wahlberg, Ryan Reynolds, Ben Affleck, Michael B. Jordan, and Timothée Chalamet all have films lined up as well. With all that, Netflix has shown themselves to be one of the most ambitious film studios out there. Sure, they put out films like Ridiculous Six, Death Note, Mute, and True Memoirs of an International Assassin starring Kevin James, but they've also released films like 22 July, Set It Up, Beasts of No Nation, and Mudbound. Yes, some of their most popular films like To All the Boys I've Loved Before and The Christmas Chronicles have been great or decent. And for the first time at The Real Deal, I'm going to go against the almighty Spielberg. Because last March, in an interview, he said, "I don't believe films that are just given token qualifications in a couple of theaters for less than a week should qualify for the Academy Award nomination." I'm sorry, I bow down to you, Mr. Spielberg, but a movie is a movie, no matter the format. Just watch Roma and tell Alfonso Cuarón that his movie is a TV movie, his passion project, a movie critics are raving about how cinematic the film is. To add to all of this, just a couple weeks ago, Netflix joined the MPAA, who have partnerships with the big six studios, Disney, Paramount, Fox, Universal, Sony, and Warner Brothers. Not even Lionsgate, the studio behind The Hunger Games, La La Land, and John Wick, has a partnership with the organization. With all the upcoming films they have coming out in the next several years, and the Oscars coming up soon, I do think it's only a matter of time before people consider Netflix as a serious movie studio. Until next time, I'm Nate Richard.
Thank you, Nate. I'm gonna have to say that you just made my day.
Moving down the list,
Coming in for the assist,
here comes Shelby.
chopping up trailers like meat in a deli.
Hello everyone, I'm glad to be back this week to give you the deets on some very cool up-and-coming movies. The first movie trailer we will be looking at today is Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix is yet another movie that focuses on the X-Men. This time, the plot surrounds Jean Grey, who recently just escaped death from a mysterious cosmic force while in space. Once she gets home, the force makes her more powerful and slightly unstable. She cannot control her new powers, which leads to her hurting the people around her, even the ones that she loves. The rest of the X-Men must come together to figure out a solution to save Jean's soul, as well as not letting anyone harness the power inside of her. The best part of this trailer is that it shows the complexity of what Jean is going through. It shows her doing horrible things like flipping police cars and causing helicopters to crash. There's even a poignant image of her eyes glowing red. However, there are also scenes that suggest the audience should feel sorry for Jean. One example is a scene from when she is a child in the car with her parents. The car flips unnaturally in the air, and it's suggested that Jean maybe did it unaware of her powers. Then there's another scene where she breaks down, obviously in agony, and another one where her head is hooked up to wires, presumably trying to figure out what is wrong with her. This juxtaposition of this evil growing inside of her and the fact that it is against her will makes her an interesting protagonist. It makes it easy to say, I want to see this movie because I want to see which side wins out in the end. Another great part of this trailer is the fantastic imagery it showcases. One image is that of Jean withering with the evil entity flowing inside of her. Her eyes glow and her head has these tiny little cracks starting from her hairline, and they almost glow. It looks like lightning bolts. Another great image is all the X-Men looking at the grave while it's raining. The image starts from above, then moves in on the X-Men in a really great way. It makes you wonder who died. The movie comes out June 7th, and I will definitely go see it. The next movie trailer is Dumbo. I'm very excited about this one. We all know the story of Dumbo. It's about a baby elephant with huge ears that enable him to fly. With that, he helps a struggling circus. The kicker, though, is that the circus is not as great as it claims to be, and it hides dark secrets. The best part of this trailer is Dumbo, of course. The baby elephant is so cute that it makes me want to see the movie just for that. There's this scene in the beginning where Dumbo just lays down in the dirt, kind of sad, in some tent until two kids come running in. They try to cheer Dumbo up by saying that they are all family there. He looks at them, accidentally sneezes, which causes him to fly unexpectedly, and the look on his face is so wondrous and happy that it put a huge grin on my face. Another great part of the trailer is that it shows that Tim Burton did in fact direct this movie. This is demonstrated by the dark storybook essence of the trailer. The setting where Dumbo and his caretakers live is surrounded by worn-down tents and train cars. All the colors are muted and a little dirty. There's also this image of Dumbo in sad clown makeup that makes you want to cry because he almost trips over his own ears. And the best scene of this trailer demonstrates this dark storybook essence when Dumbo is raised on this platform in the middle of a circus tent with hundreds of people watching, holding a feather with its trunk. The tent is darkish besides a spotlight on him. It practically gave me the chills. The movie comes out March 29th, and I will make sure to go see it. Now, the final trailer I will be looking at today is Beach Bum. This movie is a stoner comedy that follows Moondog, who lives life by his own rules. From what I gathered from the trailer, Moondog is almost put into jail, and for some reason he has to publish a novel he's been working on. The best part about the trailer is how ridiculous it is. Matthew McConaughey plays Moondog, and boy does he look the part. He has long, blonde, ratty beach hair, and he usually is wearing some obnoxiously bright neon Hawaiian shirt paired with some mismatched shorts. He sports sunglasses with lenses that flip up, leaving the frame still on his eyes, and a ship captain's hat. At one point, he wears Ugg boots with a Hawaiian shirt. There's also this scene where we find out Moondog is a poet, in which he recites his poetry to a very drunk audience on a beach. To read his poem, he flips up the lenses of his glasses and puts reading glasses on with the sunglasses frame still on his face. It's pretty funny. The trailer does a really good job of making the movie lighthearted and extremely funny. This is evident in many things, including Moondog getting in a plane with a pilot smoking an unnaturally large joint, him using a typewriter in the middle of his spread legs, and him pouring beer into his cereal bowl. It's just not serious at all, but that fits with what the movie is going for. Another great part of this trailer is that it is revealed the cast of characters in this movie. The list includes Jonah Hill, Snoop Dogg, Jimmy Buffett, Isla Fisher, Zac Efron, and Martin Lawrence. It makes the movie intriguing because all these big names are in it. The movie comes out March 29th, and I will definitely go see it because it looks like a fun movie.
Damn, Shelby, that was pretty neat.
Spittin' hot fire straight on your feet.
Now here are movies coming up this week.
End.
When I found you, your very human brain was miraculously intact.
It's the loneliest feeling not to know who you are.
In time, you'll remember.
I remember black skies, the lightning all around me.
The leader is new here.
I'm watching that. Give me the remote. No. Give it off.
Zach, what the bloody hell do you think you're doing? You really want to choke her out in a lot of fingers?
Yeah.
Now pull it tight. Oh, yeah. Now she's in trouble.
Oh, wait, I know you. You're from that weird family, aren't you?
We're not weird.
We don't like wrestling.
How do you know if you've never...
My nightmares are getting stronger and stronger. Characters from famous paintings continue to attack me. Your compulsion to steal comes from a deeper need. You are missing something in your life. I want you to paint it.
How can I paint it if I don't know what it is?
Bon, j'ai rencontré un Parisien. Je suis amoureux, voilà. Il s'en fout de moi, je pense, mais je suis persuadé que je peux lui faire changer d'avis.
Non mais t'es complètement conne ou quoi?
Je suis pas sa femme, je suis juste une amie. Lolo est son fils, je suis la maman de son fils. Jacques est très fort pour compartimenter sa vie.
Et moi? Ah, pardon.
Je suis Mathieu, un ami de Jacques.
Look at all those movies. Looking pretty groovy.
Feeling kind of parched. Might need a smoothie.
Pedal to the metal? Yeah, we going zoomy.
As crisp as a marker, here we got our boy Parker.
He's gonna get you smitten with this car show from Britain.
4 on the floor, he's bringing it hard for a new season of Grand Tour.
We about to have some fun. Here comes Parker Carlson.
From BBC to Amazon, Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, and James May have proven time and time again that friends don't give up on each other. Unless they're stuck on top of an active volcano deprived of oxygen in Colombia. In all fairness, the former Top Gear hosts, now running Amazon Prime's Grand Tour, only abandon each other when they know they have a safety net behind them. Season after season, they have each other's backs. That's why Hammond and May quit BBC's Top Gear after Clarkson got fired, also why production stopped after Hammond's car crash, and Clarkson got sick with pneumonia. But finally, the boys are back in town for Season 3 of the Grand Tour. Starting just this past January, each week our favorite old British men hop in the most lavish, adrenaline-pumping, and downright nerve-wracking cars the world has ever seen. From multi-million-dollar McLarens to hand-me-down hatchbacks, they've seen it all. And specifically, we've seen it all. This is the trio's, I want to say 20th, I don't really know, season. While this may be the Grand Tour's Season 3, the trio's hosted Top Gear with the exact same format as style as the Grand Tour, so nothing's changed this season. But in this one very particular case, it's not a bad thing. If you're a fan of Clarkson, Hammond, or May, then Season 3 of the Grand Tour is just the pick-me-up you've been waiting for. However, there's nothing really here to spice things up. Season 3 won't bring many new viewers, won't crank up the thrills to 11, or have gut-busting comedy that some of the previous shows have. Throughout watching the handful of episodes that have been released, I just kept thinking this is all the same. Besides some awe-inspiring cinematography and editing, which honestly, whoever's in charge of these really deserves an award though. I just felt blasé about the new season. Sure, there are moments when I'm on the edge of my seat, but not for good reason. This actually brings up a point that the show I'm really worried about. When will they quit? Clarkson, Hammond, and May are all reaching up there, with Clarkson almost 60. Normally, I'd say, hey, whatever, so what? They may have arthritis, but let them do what they do, and we'll all be happier. But this show is just getting more and more dangerous by the episode. One episode features the trio going on a trip to Colombia, having to cross a rickety wooden bridge, not even designed for people, while in cars that hardly fit onto it. Even races, which seem mundane to longtime fans, can result in fatal crashes. After crashing and exploding his car, Hammond is lucky to be alive. So after all this, I'm really scared that one of these days I'm going to pull up an article that says one of the old Brits died in a crash. At what point do we call it off? When should we as an audience say, stop doing stunts that are going to kill you? There's a reason stunt men and women are trained specifically to do these. After building the stakes time and time again, one day it's just going to be too much for these old men. All in all, Season 3 of the Grand Tour is more of the same. If you're not already a fan, Season 3 won't do much. But if you are, then it's a welcome addition. Personally, this is probably the only time you're going to hear me say that I love this show and its host so much that I want the Grand Tour to be canceled. I'd happily watch the show until the day I die, or rather the day they die. But I'd be content just to listen to a safe podcast with these old Brits. With Season 4 announced to only take place around the world as a travel show where they do challenges, the trio's really pushing that day they might die. Hopefully though, that won't come anytime soon. See you later, I'm Parker Carlson.
Thanks for the fun. Truly the only one.
Now let's talk about someone really handsome.
Wait, we shouldn't do that. Netflix is in a lot of trouble.
Trouble's my middle name. Ooby Trouble Poobarooby. Out on the street having lots of fundy with my homeboy Ted Bundy.
To be real, this situation is making quite a frenzy. More on this. Here's Mackenzie.
For all the true crime lovers out there like myself, 2019 has not been a disappointment this far. Netflix released Conversations with a Killer, the Ted Bundy tapes, at the end of January. This docuseries consisted of actual interviews with Bundy on death row, along with archival footage and present-day footage to really give viewers the insight of one of America's most notorious killers. With interviews never heard before by the public, this caused quite the stir. Joe Berlinger, the director of Conversations with a Killer, didn't stop there, however. Berlinger also had a feature film on Bundy that premiered at this year's Sundance Film Festival. This film, extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and vile, is what really got audiences talking. This movie follows Ted Bundy, who is played by Zac Efron, through the eyes of his partner, Elizabeth Kolopfer. Elizabeth is played by Lily Collins. If you're not familiar, Ted Bundy is an American serial killer who kidnapped, killed, and sexually assaulted at least 30 women and girls during the 1970s. However, many believed he was responsible for possibly hundreds of other deaths as well. He was sentenced to death and died by electric chair in 1989. The release of the trailer for this film didn't just cause an uproar, though, because it covered such an infamous killer, because obviously dozens of movies have already done that. But the true criticism here comes from the casting. With Zac Efron arguably being one of the biggest heartthrobs of the last decade, many were off-put by Berlinger's decision to have him portray such a terrible person. There have been many complaints that this will simply humanize and even romanticize such an evil person. I, for one, definitely think it'll be interesting to see if Efron can pull off the essence of Bundy's eerie double life. The other side of the conversation, however, argues that to accurately represent Bundy, he must be handsome and charismatic. The killer often used his good looks and charm to lure in victims, and even to earn trust of victims and the police. His court case was one of the first ever televised murder trials in the country, and people were taken back by his dashing looks and undeniable charm. Also, I must admit the resemblance between Bundy and Efron is a little bit chilling if you look at the pictures. Both Efron and Berlinger have made comments defending the casting and assuring audiences that the purpose of the film is not to humanize or even sexualize the killer, but to rather illuminate the reality of Ted Bundy. Many argue that it's because he didn't fit the stereotype of a murderer that he was so successful, and to properly portray him on the screen, he must seem normal and even desirable on the outside. Despite the controversy, there have been mixed reviews on the movie as a whole, and it only has a 64% on Rotten Tomatoes at the moment. Also, ironically, the movie was bought by Netflix for about $9 million after Sundance, but it won't be released to the general public until later this year. So I guess we'll have to wait and see if Berlinger's decision's all played out. I'm Mackenzie Diggs. Thanks for listening. Until next time, y'all.
Thanks, Mackenzie. Here's the keys to a Mercedes-Benz.
Coming up this week, we've got 8-Bit, but who's on it? We don't even know.
But you should definitely check it out, along with Logan's show.
It's my show. My show. My show. 911, what's your emergency? Back to the Grammys, we're rhyming for all our grannies.
Our only loyal fans.
I'm coming for your mans.
Okay, in other news, Marcos is talking about the Grammys.
No more rhymes?
You took it too far. Stop trying to steal my man.
Well then, let's hear from my man, Marcos.
So the Grammys happened the other night, which means that plenty of people on the internet are getting really mad. So let's take a quick journey through music's biggest night. So the night was kicked off by a performance by Camila Cabello. She performed her hit Havana with Young Thug. In addition, she also performed with Ricky Martin, Arturo Sandoval, and J Balvin. Personally, I think that Alicia Keys made a great host. I felt that her chill demeanor was refreshing and necessary for the night. It really brought a unifying feeling to the awards show. She started off strong by bringing out Lady Gaga, Jada Pinkett Smith, Michelle freaking Obama, and Jennifer Lopez to talk about unity that music brings to all people. Soon after that, Shawn Mendes and Miley Cyrus performed, both looking like Han Solo in vests and pants that made them look pretty cool, honestly. Not only was their performance really good, but I felt the swagger that the outfits presented to it as well. Next came the first big award of the night, Best Pop Duo or Group Performance. The Grammy went to Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper for their song Shallow, and while accepting the award, Lady Gaga gave a great speech about addressing mental health in our society. Next up, there were a couple more performances. There was Casey Musgraves, who I really enjoyed. I thought her performance and voice was great, and it intrigued me enough to look into her music, even though I had never heard of her before. And I'm not really the biggest fan of country music. There was also a performance by Janelle Monáe that absolutely exuded feminine power. The second big award of the night was for Song of the Year. This went to the esteemed Donald Glover, better known by his stage name Childish Gambino, for his song This Is America. Next was a performance by the songbird of this generation, none other than the Post Malone. He did an acoustic set followed by his smash hit Rockstar, with a notably absent verse from 21 Savage, the featured rap artist on the track. 21 was arrested on the day of the Super Bowl and taken into custody by ICE for an overstayed visa from 2006. Following his solo performance, Post Malone joined the Red Hot Chili Peppers in what looked like easily one of the most fun performances of the night, with lots of jumping around and headbanging. Following was a celebration for Dolly Parton, who was the recipient of the Academy's Person of the Year award. There was a star-studded performance that included Dolly herself, Miley Cyrus, Maren Morris, Little Big Town, Katy Perry, and Casey Musgraves. The next big performance came from her, and let me tell you guys, that performance went hard. The vibes were great, and I personally enjoyed it a lot. So next was Cardi B, and it was nice to see her keep on her scent in the music industry, especially after an incredibly successful year that she had in 2018 and so far in 2019. After Cardi's killer performance was the award for Best Country Album. This went to Casey Musgraves for her album The Golden Hour. Again, after her performance, I feel the need to check out her music, because that girl is really talented. Next came my personal favorite moment of the entire show. 4 words: Alicia Keys, 2 pianos. Wild, right? She went on to describe many of her favorite songs by other artists that she wished she had wrote. These included songs like In My Feelings by Drake, Lucid Dreams by Juice WRLD, Boot Up by LMA, That Thing by the Lauryn Hill, and ended on her hit New York State of Mind. This was easily one of the most entertaining and impressive performances of the night. Next, Dan and Shay performed their smash country hit Tequila to a great response from the crowd. The next big award went to Best Rap Song. Drake won with his song God's Plan. One of the internet's biggest gripes about this year's show was that Drake's speech was cut off shortly after affirming to the other artists in the room that they are already winning and they don't really need a Grammy to show that they are winners. Now, after this was my least favorite part of the show, and I have to start off by saying I really appreciate Diana Ross, but having a 10-minute tribute to her 75th birthday with only her performing and shouting happy birthday to me several times at the end of her performance, something about that just rubbed me the wrong way. I am all for the spectacle of the Grammys, but I feel like this just wasn't the event for it. Next were performances by Lady Gaga and Travis Scott. Both were very good and spirited performances. Travis Scott in particular had the whole crowd on their feet. This was followed by a celebration of 60 years in Motown with Smokey Robinson, Ne-Yo, and Jennifer Lopez. The Best R&B album was up next, with the winner going to her, with her self-titled album. Brandi Carlile and Chloe and Halle performed next, and both were really good. The rap album went to Cardi B, and surprisingly, many didn't see her winning in the category. She gave a pretty flustered and humble speech, and she was obviously honored by the award. St. Vincent and Dua Lipa had a performance following the award. Dua Lipa then won the category for Best New Artist. This was followed by a short memoriam of artists who had passed away during this last year, including Mac Miller. Finally, the last 2 categories of the night were for Record of the Year and Album of the Year. Record of the Year went to Childish Gambino and Ludwig Göransson, the composer of the song, shouted out 21 Savage, who was also on the track. Album of the Year went to Casey Musgraves for The Golden Hour. Now, I enjoy the Grammys overall, but personally I feel like the Grammys should be more about the awards for all the hard work that the artists put into and the love that all the artists put into their crafts. Just to put this into perspective, there are 84 categories in which an artist can win a Grammy. 8 of those wins were televised, over a 3.5-hour runtime. In comparison, there were 14 different performances. Some of my favorite artists won awards, and I didn't even know about it until I looked at Twitter later. So to conclude, I really appreciate the Grammys for what they are, but I could do with a little less of the spectacle. Now, that's not to say that the performances were bad. I, and many others, could just use less of them. Shout out to Diana Ross. I'm glad she's turning 75, but I didn't need to hear her hype herself up for like 10 minutes straight. So that's been my analysis and quick rant about the Grammy Awards. Of course, congratulations to all the artists who won in their categories, and also to the artists who put in the work to be nominated for these awards. I'm Marcos Carranza. Until next time, peace.
Thanks for that segment, but I have to vent.
Ariana Grande ruined my dinner when she was named as the pop vocal album winner.
All right, to be real, the show came by like a blur, but I swear, Noah, if you touch her...
Are you threatening me? I better get a bodyguard and sting you like a bee.
With the review of Bodyguard coming at you, we hired our boy, and his name is Matthew.
I first heard about The Bodyguard when news outlets reported that the show had attracted some of the highest ratings for a BBC show in years. And then when Moonlight director Barry Jenkins tweeted his thoughts about the show, I knew I had to check it out. Bodyguard follows Sergeant David Budd, a war vet who struggles to balance his personal life and the PTSD he brought back from overseas. He's assigned to protect Julia Montague, the radical and controversial Home Secretary, after a terror plot is uncovered. While the government scrambles to find out who is responsible for these events, Budd becomes personally involved with the investigation in more ways than one. Now, each episode is around an hour long, and with only 6 episodes in the season, I had no problem binge-watching the whole thing in a single day. Well, that and because the show is just so damn good. The first episode is pretty much perfect, beginning with a tense, edge-of-your-seat 17-minute sequence involving a possible bomb threat on a train. It's a captivating start that makes sure you stay and watch the rest of the show has to offer. The following 2 episodes are just as great, each one revealing more of the bigger picture and bringing more white-knuckle suspense, as well as quieter character moments. Richard Madden, who is best known for his role as Robb Stark in Game of Thrones, is absolutely magnetic in the main role. Budd is a very complex character who is carrying a lot of baggage that he can't seem to shake, and Madden handles his complexities with grace. It's a great showcase of Madden's talents, and you should be seeing more of him in the future. Equally as good is Keely Hawes as Julia. Julia never feels like some cliched caricature of a conservative politician. She's human and has plenty of moments where it shows she's so much more than what the public sees. The chemistry between Madden and Hawes is aces, and their scenes together are probably my favorite aspect of the show. That being said, Bodyguard does have its faults. After a major plot twist occurs in the middle of the season, the story shifts gears and begins going in another direction. And I understand why the show is trying to keep the audience on its feet. It suffers from a bit of whiplash. With so many twists and turns happening, it begins to feel less grounded and more convoluted and unrealistic, all leading up to a reveal in the last 15 minutes or so that seems completely out of place and has some not so subtle racial undertones that did not sit well with me at all. All in all, while the show loses a bit of focus near the back half, I recommend The Bodyguard for its exceptional first half, strong lead performances, and the sheer intensity it carries all the way from the first scene. I give Bodyguard a strong 4 out of 5. I'm Matthew Simmons, and that's my opinion.
Thanks, Matthew. We're almost done. Phew.
Thankfully, we don't have to rhyme for our final word. That would be totally absurd.
We'll be right back after the break, because I don't know how much of this rapping I can take.
Once, everything was awesome. Now, everything is bleak.
Hey, Lucy! I brought you coffee!
Coffee. The bitter liquid that provides the only semblance of pleasure left in these dark times.
Oh my goshness, did I interrupt you brooding just now?
Times have changed. You need to change with them. We have to be tough and battle ready.
Look, a shooting star, make a wish!
Oh no.
Sweet new wheels. A little pre-celebration for the big day, huh?
I'm making partner, baby. Time to break that glass ceiling.
We all know who deserves this. Give it up for our Summit Worldwide Sports Management's newest partner. Whoa! Allie, that pass was actually to Eddie. All right.
I'm so sick of this boys' club. Every day is payday. day.
You don't connect well. I'm very honored to be named Kehoe Citizen of the Year. I'm just a guy who keeps a strip of civilization open. When you drive the same road day after day, it's easy to think about the road not taken. I was lucky. I picked a good road early, and a seat on it.
Mr. Coxman,
What can I do for you?
it's about your son.
Ariana Grande may have won Best Pop Vocal Album at the Grammys, but her night was not all sunshine. Grande decided not to attend the Grammys this year as there was a dispute with the producers about her performance idea. This was pretty surprising to me, considering she has released 2 albums within a year's time. She still watched at home though, and she tweeted a lot. She tweeted some really good things, like thanking everyone for her victory and saying how much she wished she could have been there. She also posted a picture of the dress she would have worn on Instagram and thanked the designer. Things pretty much went downhill from here. Rapper Mac Miller, who is also Grande's ex-boyfriend, passed away in 2018. He was one of the nominees for Best Rap Album for his album Swimming, which was released right before his passing. His parents were invited to attend. Miller didn't win, and he was beat out by Cardi B. Grande was not happy about this. She tweeted a series of choice words that I cannot say on here, and then she pointed out that Mac had spent 2 months in the studio working on that album. Huffington Post reported that one fan pointed out how the Grammys invited his parents and didn't give him an award. Grande responded, "This is what I meant. Karen Miller," who is Mac's mom, was going to have a green suit made. Her angry post made people think that she was not happy for Cardi B, the first solo woman to win Best Rap Album. Grande quickly tweeted out that she was in fact happy for Cardi and that she was even sorry. A fan even called Cardi trash, which Grande responded to by saying, "She's not at all, and that's not what I meant, and you know that." She ended the night by deleting some tweets that she made and posted about being, quote, super tarnished, but, quote, super grateful. She also pointed out that Miller's dog was snuggling with her to end the night. In my opinion, Grande let her emotions get the best of her. She had every right to be upset, but sometimes I think celebrities underestimate the platform that they have. So many young viewers are shaped by what they say or do. The fan calling Cardi B trash is a prime example of that. I have always felt that celebrities need to be a little more careful with what they put out there, but hey, at least she figured it out. Congratulations to Ariana Grande and all the other winners on Sunday night. Without all of the amazing artists in this world, I would be missing my favorite thing, music. That's all I have for you today.
Thanks, Abby. You're right. And as Valentine's Day rapidly approaches, I wanted to review one of the most essential romance movies of our generation. The Notebook has been pulling on the heartstrings of teens and young adults for years now, but is it really that great? Let's find out. It's got an unrealistic story marred by quasi-tolerable acting from Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams' supporting cast. Gosling is great, so is McAdams, but I can't get past how corny the film is. And it's the classic "I waited for you, but you didn't wait for me" that's lifted straight out of Forrest Gump. And I do have to concede, though, that this movie is well written outside of that. It's got some excellent cinematography, and it never drags on like a lot of romantic films do. I'm not a huge fan of the genre, but I found myself glued to the screen. And I can tear apart the film as much as I'd like, but there's no denying that it plays with your emotions a little bit. That emotional connection is why this film is done so well critically and still maintains its relevance even 15 years after it was released. And maybe I'm just partial because I share a name with the lead character, but this is a solid film. If you haven't seen it, Valentine's Day is the perfect time to cuddle up with your other half or sit with a box of tissues and some ice cream and let this love story play out.
Thanks, Noah. We're done for the episode. If you want more of us, check out The Real Deal on Facebook, Twitter, and our website for all things entertainment. I'm your host, Abby Perry.
And I'm Noah Bullard. We'll see you next time on The Real Deal.